Hi, everybody. It's John back again with my conversations on the truth and on being able to recognize truth and be able to have a wider perspective in life and hopefully find things that bring you happiness and joy. One of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight in our journeys is to talk about perspective. Um, so much of our attitude and so much of our daily living is based on perception. And a lot of times, what we initially think or how we initially feel or the impressions that we have are not the most accurate. And it requires a constant effort to look around and to evaluate what we are interpreting and to be able to walk away with the value of truth. Now, as I spoke earlier about some of the teachings of in the scriptures of Jesus Christ that talks about truth and knowing truth and the truth will set you free. It's also a good time to point out that he is the source of all truth and light and knowledge. So, as we go through our individual existence and our experiences in life, it is important, again, to seek that higher power, to seek that illumination um, through meditation and through study, through being able to widen our perspectives in the teachings of other religions and of Christianity and even Buddhism. We are taught to look from the perspective of other people. Even the Native American cultures um, teach us that, you know, not to judge other people until we've walked a mile in their shoes. So basically, what this is saying or telling us is that we need to change our own perspective. We need to walk a mile in their shoes. We need to put ourselves in their place. We need to think about things in a way that might be uncomfortable for us, in a way that might challenge our beliefs or might challenge our values. We have to be willing to open up our minds and consider, you know, things may not be the way that we thought. And I think that as we go through our life daily, it's important to kind of stop at the end of the day and evaluate, where we're at and what we're thinking and why we feel the way we do and how it might be important to change or consider a different approach in order to progress further in life. I was again reading this evening from the book The Art of Happiness, um, a, a handbook for living, by Howard C. Cutler and His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And I liked what they had to say. And so I'm going to quote something here about perspective, or having having a flexible mind. He says on page 191, he says, by adopting a flexible malleable approach to life, we can maintain our composure even when the most restless and turbulent conditions. It is through our efforts to achieve flexible mind that we can nurture the resiliency of the human spirit. Unquote. So that brings me to another main point in my efforts to reach out to other people and to create this channel, and that is resiliency. Resiliency in our own spirit to persevere and to work through the adversities and the trials and the hardships, the disappointments and the failures that we experience. Life throws at us many curveballs, many trials, many hardships, many adversities. And sometimes, because of the anger of the experience or the pain that we go through, we harden our hearts and we don't want to let anyone in, or we don't want to see things in a different light because we are guarded and it protects ourselves. But what it really does is it builds walls and it makes it so we resist change. And change is the world's greatest constant. It's all around us every day. And it's important for us to take a moment each day and see if the things that are going on around us are going to produce the changes that we desire to get us to where we want to be a year from now, 10 years from now, or even in a shorter time frame, maybe next week. There's things that we want to do, there's things that we want to accomplish. And so sometimes we might approach a problem with a great attitude and all the determination in the world, and we run into a barrier. And that barrier presents a necessity to change our approach, to look at things from a new perspective, to think, if you will, from outside the box. So, again, here we are in a situation where we have to evaluate our perspective, where we have to stop and look around, seek counsel, listen to other people, see how they went through similar experiences, read, search the best books, as we're encouraged to do. And don't be thinking that you know everything or that the world revolves just around you. There is so much more to life, to culture, to living than what we're able to just dream up ourselves or think of ourselves or experience by ourselves. Life is much richer and better when we allow for the participation of those around us. I want to stop and kind of go down a rabbit hole for a minute, and that is based on how we create some of our own drama and our own problems because we refuse to change, or we refuse to have a different perspective or allow anybody else in our lives. Sometimes getting into habits that are routine and strict and that preclude anybody else's involvement, or maybe even you're in a bad crowd and you're all thinking the same things and you're all doing the same things, but they're all without any flexibility in thinking. You shut down the creativity because you have a certain agenda and you have a certain thought process that there's only one way to do it. One of the things that my father taught me was that there's more than one way to skin a cat. That's just an old saying that means that there's more than one way to do things. He was very inventive and very creative and was always thinking outside the box, if you will. And I think that his creative genius, even though it was used in a lot different ways than I have used my own creativity, his creative genius influenced me to look at the bigger picture, to look down the road, not to get tunnel vision or to just, go off thinking that it was going to be my way or no way. And this is something that I've had to learn over time too. So with age comes also changes in perspective. So hopefully the things that I've learned in my life will help serve other people. And again, another reason for me wanting to do this is to be able to maybe influence my children or my grandchildren or people who might be struggling, that are ready to give up because they don't see there's any other way. So again, I want to emphasize that we stop in the journey, that we meditate, that we pray, that we seek for answers, that we look at other perspectives, that we become malleable, that we become impressionable, that we have an open mind, that we are willing to look from another person's perspective, that we are willing to, if you will, walk in somebody else's shoes. I know that in my own life I have experienced great blessings from being willing to open my thinking to other people and to listen to the things that they had to say. And not every experience that I've had from listening to other people has turned out to be the best advice, but it has turned out to help me in my life in learning and developing greater understanding and developing greater compassion and changing my thinking and opening doors for me that allowed for growth and personal development that would have never come any other way had I just been like a bull in a china closet and just plunged ahead without listening to other people. And there's pain that comes in life, to everybody. But I would encourage today's lesson to be applied in each of our lives, and that is one of perspective. So the next time that you feel absolutely dead set on something and maybe a little bit stubborn, I would encourage you to stop and seek counsel or reflect, ask another person their opinion. Um, it can be a stranger or a friend or somebody that's not even involved in the situation, but just somebody that may have another point of view. And I promise you, as you face change with more flexibility, and as you allow yourself to be influenced by other perspectives, and as you develop a more flexible, malleable mindset, that your life will develop and you'll have greater understanding, greater compassion, greater love, and greater happiness. And that, my friends, again, is what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to achieve happiness. So, today's lesson, today's thoughts, it's all about perspective. Have a good one. Take care. And until the next one, good night.